Why I refuse to bail out. My brother after he robbed our mom blind. I, 33M, am the oldest of three siblings. My brother Luke, 30M, and I have always had a complicated relationship. Growing up, he was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. Meanwhile, I was the one who was expected to pick up the pieces every time he screwed up. Luke was the kind of kid who could charm his way out of anything. Stolen lunch money. He'd flash that smile and say he was borrowing it to buy me a snack later. Broken window. He'd spin a story about trying to save a cat that wasn't even there. Mom always fell for it, and Dad was too checked out to care. A couple of years ago, Luke got involved in some pretty shady stuff. Drugs, gambling, and a string of get-rich-quick schemes that never panned out. Every time he hit rock bottom, he'd crawl back to Mom, and every time she'd let him in. Our mom, who raised us alone after Dad left, always bailed him out, and every single time I tried to warn her, told her that she was just enabling him, that every dollar she handed over was another nail in the coffin of Luke's so-called fresh start. But she didn't want to hear it. He's my son, she'd say. He just needs a little more time to get back on his feet. 3 months ago, Luke asked our mom for money to start fresh. He said he was going to rehab, said he was going to get his life together. Mom was ecstatic. She sold some family heirlooms, her mother's wedding ring, a set of antique silver spoons, to come up with the cash. Gave him everything she had left along with what little savings she'd managed to hold on to after years of bailing him out. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from the police. Luke had been arrested for fraud. Apparently, he'd been scamming multiple people, including our mom, taking money from people under the guise of starting a charity to help troubled youth. Only the troubled youth in question was himself. When I went to see him in jail, he was sitting there looking as smug as ever. He didn't look scared, didn't look sorry, just annoyed, like I was inconveniencing him by being there. "You're gonna bail me out, right?" he said. Like it was a given. Like we were still kids and he'd just been caught sneaking a beer from the fridge. I just stared at him, trying to process the fact that he'd taken everything from our mom, money she was supposed to live on after retirement. "Why would I bail you out after what you did to Mom?" I said, voice shaking. "Because you're my brother," he said, leaning forward, eyes dark and cold. "And that's what brothers do. They take care of each other." "Yeah? Well, I'm her son too," I shot back. "And I can't keep cleaning up your messes." Luke leaned back in his chair, smirk still plastered on his face. "Come on, man. You know how she is. She'll forgive me. She always does." I clenched my fists under the table, biting back everything I wanted to say because he was right. She would forgive him, and she'd do it again. And again. And again. When I got home, Mom was sitting on the couch staring at the empty space where her mother's wedding ring used to be. The house felt colder. Emptier. "Did you see him?" she asked, voice fragile as a spider's web. "Yeah," I said, dropping my keys on the counter. "I saw him. Is he okay?" "Depends on your definition of okay," I said, grabbing a beer from the fridge. "He asked me to bail him out." Mom's eyes lit up for a second like a drowning person spotting a lifeline. "Are you going to—" I cracked open the beer, took a long swig. "Are you serious? After everything he's done to you? To us?" Mom's face crumpled. "But he's still my son," she said, tears spilling over. "He promised he'd pay me back once he was out. He said he'd make it right." I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her by the shoulders and shake some sense into her. But instead, I just sat down across from her, feeling more exhausted than I'd ever felt in my life. "Mom," I said, "he's not going to change if you let him keep getting away with this. He's just going to do it again to you, to me, to anyone who still gives a damn." She sobbed, hugging herself like she was the one locked behind bars. "He's still my baby," she said, voice breaking. "I can't just leave him there." "Mom," I said, "at least one of your sons is still here, still doing the right thing. But you're so focused on saving the one who keeps hurting you that you don't even see me anymore." She just looked at me with those tired red eyes and whispered, "You're right. But he's still my baby." That was the last straw. I haven't spoken to Luke since Mom keeps calling, begging me to reconsider, but I can't bring myself to bail him out after what he did. I feel guilty like I'm abandoning my brother, but I'm also furious that Mom keeps enabling him, that she's willing to lose everything just to give him another chance he doesn't deserve. And the worst part, I can't shake the feeling that if I don't bail him out, I'm going to be the one she blames. Not Luke, me. AITA for refusing to bail him out.